This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
BTW, FYI. Visit Nexplanon.com RN to learn about Nexplanon. It's an adjustable implant, 68 milligrams radio pain. Or ask your HCP IRL. Okay, TTYL.
Welcome to a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong?
Woo! Starring two people who have not once ever in their lives been wrong. And today, we have another fantastic episode for you. We have 3 segments. We will explain each one before the respective segment as to not overwhelm. But what you need to know is not only do we want you to listen, you can watch also on Patreon, but we want you to participate and vote on who you think is wrong in each of these circumstances. And that will be over on our Instagram story. We put up a poll and you vote who is wrong. And you also respond, say why you voted the way you did, your thoughts, your feelings. And then we read all of those on our episode on Tuesday called See You Next Tuesday. So it's a grand old time. You don't have to take notes, but you can take notes if you want.
If you want to have the most accurate experience when you write in on our Instagram post, then yeah, take notes if it's going to help you.
And you can pretend to be studious.
Yeah, but also don't vote unless you've actually listened to the episode. And don't comment unless you've actually listened to the episode. But those people aren't listening, so it doesn't matter.
Good point. Good point. I didn't even think of that. Our first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we pitch Meghan and Melisa to each other and to the audience, either something that's recently happened or something that we've been stewing on. It can be a hot take, a rant that we want to know if we are in the wrong about. And then we will deliberate and decide. So take it away.
All right.
Hello, sharks. Here's my pitch.
Yes. Hello, sharks. I have a proposal to you, and this is about office sirens.
And I'm buying whatever you're selling because I thought we were done with this trend. Apparently not.
Here's the thing.
Oh, wait. Speaking of, sorry. Let me prepare for your segment.
You're not showing enough skin. Sorry. There you go. There you go.
I just pull a titty out.
Here's the thing. Like, if you call yourself an office siren and then you get fired, you're not actually doing a good job and you should get fired. And that's my hot take.
I love it.
So Merriam-Webster says that siren is any of a group of female and partly human creatures in Greek mythology that lured, is it mariners or mariners? That lured
mariners.
I'm just going to say seamen. That lured seamen to destruction by their singing. So, in case you don't know, let's talk about a little TikTok drama that's got everyone abuzz. And I think it's kind of a cautionary tale about workplace fashion. I'm sure that you've heard of, if you've been on TikTok, the office siren aesthetic. Think tight, sexy clothes, revealing cuts. You know, it's a little sexy take on professional wear. Apparently, someone took it a little bit too far and it cost them their job. So it all started with a TikTok video from a creator named Jacqueline Lee. And she basically said that the office siren look is a walking HR violation. And now that video has blown up, millions of likes, thousands of comments. And then, things got interesting. Someone commented on her video saying that they had an intern who showed up for her second day in a full-on office siren outfit that consisted of a leather miniskirt, tube top, the works. And they said that they were immediately fired, not just talking to fired. And this wasn't just any internship. This was a paid gig, $25 an hour with a guaranteed 6-figure job after graduation. So this person says, which, is a huge opportunity. To me, I don't think it's true. Like the amount of money that you get after working $25 an hour, it doesn't seem right. But apparently this outfit was a deal breaker. They even claimed that it was in the intern's contract that such attire was grounds for termination, which that part I believe. So naturally, people on TikTok went a little wild. People were shocked, saying, yeah, that's totally unprofessional. And some people were like, no way, that's way too extreme. And then, of course, everyone started speculating. A lot of people assumed Jacqueline Lee, the original creator, was the one who got fired, but she wasn't. She had to make a follow-up video clarifying that she was just the one commenting on the trend, not the one wearing the outfits. So now we have a mystery. Who is this intern who got fired for their fashion choices? No one knows. And the person that made that original comment hasn't revealed any more details. Here's the thing. Regardless of who it was, I truly don't think it's true. But if you call yourself an office siren, I feel like you are begging for an HR violation. But also, like, an office siren, who are you luring into a trap?
Bill from accounting?
Right. Like, I understand if you're like, seducing people with your mind. And I'm not one here to police anyone for what they're wearing. But if you're doing like an actual good job, and you're like, I'm taking down the man, go for it. Yes, you are an office siren. But if you're just like, let me show up to work looking hot and not bringing anything else to the table, and then you get fired immediately, that's on you. Like, you need to do a better job. And also, like, if you're an intern, do not show up looking like this. This is something you do after you've been working there and have an established relationship for years. And I feel like anybody that is sharing this information of this is how you need to dress seductively at work, you're part of the problem too. And I don't think you actually work in a corporate environment like this.
No, I think you're intentionally
setting people up for failure.
Yeah, so then you're like narrowing the pool of people. Yeah, so like you're taking out the competition.
Or you're just making rage bait content because you know that people are going to be like, I can't wear that to work, or you can't wear that to work. And you're just making the content because you know that people are going to say this.
Yeah. As someone who played a siren in our school's rendition of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? But of course there wasn't enough boys, so it was Oh Sister, Where Art Thou?
Sis. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I played a siren. I do think they made us wear unitards for one part of it, which I was like, not sexy.
But you're also think children.
No, true. But I was trying to remember, is it the same play? Because I'm like, did we wear something else? Like, it could have been a different play. I think self-identifying as a siren is insane. Because like, this isn't like a video vixen. This is not like something you put on your on your fucking like resume. Mm-hmm. There isn't a reel of this. It's just being like, yeah, I work in corporate and I also fuck. Like, right. I work in corporate and I have titties. Like, you can't call yourself a siren. That's like a guy calling himself like, yeah, I'm a nice guy. And it's like, by the way, I'll call you a nice guy if I see it. I don't need, other people can call you an office siren. If you self-identify as that means nobody else has told, they're not saying it. And you go, by the way, everyone, let's talk about that now. And it goes, there's a reason why they're not saying this. But yeah, I think the vast majority of people who do it are like influencers. And I'm like, you don't have a fucking corporate job.
You don't have a corporate job.
No, but I do love the like extreme like lie that I think it's like scared straight for office sirens that now they're like, well, now I can't do this because this girl lost an internship that was guaranteed to be like a $250,000 a year. that never happened, but I love that we're scaring you
Yes.
out of your tube top and your fucking leather miniskirt. Like, if that's what it took, I would have lied earlier. Like, that's great. I do hope people understand that even if you wear the biggest muumuu, the most unsexy thing or whatever, you will never get an internship that is a guaranteed $250,000 a year job. Like, with love, like it's not happening. It doesn't matter what you're wearing.
No.
It doesn't exist.
It exists if your
dad is
your
JP
dad.
Morgan.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, you are a nepo child and you're not actually really going to work. You just have a title that you're showing up for.
Yeah, and the internship is just to like try and make friends and like not tell your coworkers that like you work for the boss.
Right.
That's your daddy.
And you're not gonna get fired. And
No.
why would you? And then in that case, you don't want to be a siren because, like, who are you trying to seduce? Your dad? Gross.
Ew, pervert. Put some clothes on. I'm trying to have sex with your dad, you fucking weirdo. Yeah, I like can't believe this is still a thing. It's just so funny to me. I would also like to say big win, and as well as another absolute loss for the same group of people, which are women with breasts. Actually, take that back. Anybody with tits.
Mm-hmm.
This is because inherently you can't be an office siren without tits. They're like, no, that's not office siren enough. But also, people see tits and you could be wearing the most conservative fucking outfit. They go, stop trying to be an office siren. So
Right.
like you're policed for your body either way. But I just know that bitches with boobies are fucking tired of this shit.
And they're not calling themselves office sirens.
No, they're like, sorry. And I'm sorry, an office that requires a pencil skirt and you got bitches with asses in there. Oh, tough time. Tough time to be accused of sirening your fucking loser coworkers. And you go, so sorry that my ass is out of this world and in these chinos. What the fuck do you expect me to do? Like, it's just like, let's stop. Let's just stop with this whole office siren thing. Because also the comparison to Gisele Bundchen, which is the glasses that I got. Because I was like, I want a little glasses. Like, this will be fun. And I was like, that's the vibe. To say that, like, that's who I'm trying to be. She is a model
She is
hired
a
in a movie
model.
to play someone who's working in an office.
Yes.
None of those things are real.
Right.
You can't do it in your real office. I don't know why we're taking like, well, I'm just going to do like this. Oh, this movie where this person who's never worked corporate is working in corporate. By the way, fashion. They're working in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And like, why don't you just wear an Empire waist top and call it a day?
Yeah, I'm not here to like police what people are wearing, but like when you are legit, like, I'm here to seduce in the workplace, unless you're getting something from this in a way that you're not getting fired. Again, if you're doing this correctly, you do not name yourself that, and you are moving up the ranks and
In
getting what
secret.
you need and not getting a fucking fired from an internship.
No. And like, there are jobs where being hot and being slutty helps you with your job. I would recommend if that is something that you want, like you need to be able to look hot at work. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling at TCBY when they gave me that apron and that visor. And I said, I don't know if I can, and the polo. I said, I don't know if I can do this. I am a siren. And then I said, let me start a vlog. Like, there are things you can do if you want to use your wiles about you. Whatever, like you can without a doubt do that. And you know, as people who work in Hollywood, I'm just waiting for the next office sirens to when will we finally, the heat will get off of us and we won't have the casting couch anymore where they go, oh, someone's seduced by the water cooler. Oh yeah, she's definitely sucking dick by the water cooler. Like, okay, you want that stereotype? Because words have meaning. That is the that is the siren. We are seducing, distracting, and luring for our own personal gain. And there are better ways to do that. You could sell your pee. Turns out people really love that.
Meghan.
I'm just saying. But by the way, again, if you haven't heard other ones, we are Melissa and I specifically are quite concerned about how this could implicate anybody who participates in crimes.
Yes.
So just remember that it is, I don't know if there's DNA, but it is like DNA.
But it's also like not lucrative.
No, and
the amount that people are offering is nothing.
Not enough. And I don't know. I can't imagine that's legal to ship.
No, it's bodily
biohazard.
waste. Like, no, it's not legal to ship. I'm sure there are things that you can mix together that probably smell pissy that people might be shipping, like food products. But
Yeah.
Why are we still talking about this?
Pissy. Melissa, I can't stop. It's just. It's my
Okay,
life for a little
well,
bit right
we're
now.
going to take a break, and when we get back, Megan's gonna get into her. But am I wrong?
There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
BAIW presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es BAIW Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. BAIW, adelante.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
I'm back. Who's ready for my But Am I Wrong?
Me.
Mine is a quick rant. I will say that I'll say the word, and I'll say my thesis, and then I'm going to read you what it autocorrected as.
Okay.
Which is leave Millie Bobby Brown alone. My phone autocorrected to leave Milky Bobby Brown.
Bobby's not even her middle name.
No, and it's I have such like a strongly protective thing on that. And Mott's was like, I thought you didn't like her. I said, no, she's a child.
Mm-hmm.
Why I have no beef with a child. The only thing I've said is, and now my questions are left unturned because someone did ask her thoughts on her video, which she talked about being a flat earther. And she was like, yeah, I was a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, guys. Like, that was crazy. And I was like, I was always just being like, I can't wait till she gets to the age where she goes, I have to address it. I said that was crazy. And she did. And I have such like a fierce level of protection over this young girl who I have quite literally never met. So happy when she got married. I was like, thank God. Finally, you get the fucking perverts out of here because nothing can stop them except a man. Because it's like, oh, I'm not going to step on another man's toes, who've been doing a fucking countdown and she turns 18. And now that she is an adult, suddenly she's no longer like sexy and desirable. They go, ugh, you're looking like a 45-year-old woman. And I'm seeing young women saying this and like not straight men who are saying this. And I just need you to know, if you ever look to your right and then look to your left and you see you are surrounded by gross, ugly cis men, fully grown old adult men yelling about how much they hate her and you're doing it too, but you're like, but it's for a different reason. Where do you think that talking point came from?
Yeah.
She looks so old. Huh. Oh, so sorry. Where did that come from? Oh, it came from the men who liked that she was underage. And now that they're like, oh, I don't like that she's of age. Now let's call her old. If she looks 40, wonderful. Who the fuck cares? She doesn't look 40. You don't know what a 40-year-old looks like. She's having fun. She's wearing like fun outfits, but like she has been under such intense like sexualization and scrutiny for the way that she looks since she was so little. And I do think a part of that is the fact that her character's head is shaved in the beginning of that. So when she's doing the press tour and she has hair, they're like, oh my goodness, like what a cute little, like it's this, it feels like she's like, they think that to the fucking perverse, it's like she's participating in a fantasy. She's in a sci-fi thing that they love and she's being weird, but like, oh, she's wearing a little dress. She's, no, it's just, it's so fucked. She grew up like in the limelight. I think people are starting to realize that people who have worked in LA for a long time have realized, she has a family that relied on her in a way that is not sustainable and not healthy and is fucked. Like it's such a shitty fucking situation. And I think a lot of people look at child actors as like ultimate success stories. I cannot stress to you enough that a Coogan account will not keep like survive. You can't live on a Coogan account until you're an adult. You can't. Like you get a fucking fraction of a fraction of a fraction. Your parents get most of your money. Mm-hmm. And then you have this fraction of it. And most of the time you end up giving and using a lot of that fraction on your family. So I just think that like this whole thing of being like, ugh, she's everywhere. And like, I don't like her outfits and I hate this river. By the way, shut the fuck up. She has to work. She made no fucking money as a child. Telling you that right now. She made no money as a child. She didn't get to keep any of that shit. And she got married young. Love that. Love that for her. Only time I'm going to love it. Age appropriate. Wonderful. But you do not need to comment that you think she looks old or she looks whatever. No, like she's a kid. She's allowed to like make expressions and do all of this kind of stuff. And I think for a generation and specifically young people who are saying this to her about how, you know, we need like express ourselves and do all of this kind of stuff, but only in the way that you like, that you deem appropriate. Like, no. And anyone who thinks she looks old, there is a whole fucking generation wearing blazers to the club. Like, this is like, this like idea of what you think also is old. Like, oh, she looks like a Real Housewife. I'm like, do you think Real Housewives dress like old people? They don't. Like, there is this like idea of like what is trendy and what is new or whatever. And like, it's a rite of passage to bleach the shit out of your hair, fry it off and dye it blonde. Like, let her have some fucking fun with it. And people like rag on her for her accent changing. She's a child actor. Again, moved to the US at what, 10 or 11 or something like that. I think even younger. So yeah, things are going to change. That stuff's going to shift. And she's just like been through so much. And I just need people, specifically, I need women and gay people who are listening to this podcast, because I don't know how many like straight cis men are listening to this. But like,
we have at least one.
Yeah, like just know that the fucking sitting on their lazy boy, eating their Dominoes, those fucking like old ass ugly cis men, they have the hate covered. You don't need to participate. They've got that more than enough covered from literally the time that she was like a child. And I saw an interview where someone asked her how she handles the hate, and she was like, at this point, like I just rolls off. And she was like, and I don't want to say that it's like it doesn't affect me, but like it has to. Like I've lived with this my entire life. Like more of my life I've lived with this scrutiny than I haven't. That's so fucking depressing. Don't participate in that. Be better than them. Like you're regurgitating the same, oh, she's too old talking points from the men who wanted to fuck her because she was a child. Yuck.
Yeah.
And if I was her, I would intentionally, she doesn't look older, but if she wanted to intentionally draw on wrinkles and bags on her eyes to make herself look like an old one, she wanted to get Mandy Moore's makeup artist from This Is Us when she left the house every fucking day to get these old ass men who wanted to fuck her when she was a kid off her back and out of her DMs. She's got my fucking blessing.
Yeah, I saw the comments and I was like, why are we doing this? Like, have we learned nothing? And it seems like we go through this time period where it's like, you know, yay, women, body positivity. And then there's just this pendulum swing of like everybody's back ragging on people because of their looks. No matter how they look, it doesn't matter. Too young, too old, too skinny, too fat, too immature, they act too mature. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. They're always going to complain no matter what. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, how much good or bad you do for the world, they're going to talk shit on you.
Yep. And it comes from the same origin. Like it is always coming from the patriarch. It's coming from the same. It's not ever coming from people you inherently agree with. You just start regurgitating the same shit. And that's where they want to keep us. I would say that Millie Bobby Brown, I know you're not listening, but I love seeing when people like take a stand for like against this as a whole, but specifically for her because she's a kid. But there's a subreddit which I love called What the Frock, FROCK, about like outfits and dresses, celebrity styling. The way when someone posts a picture of Millie Bobby Brown, all of the mods are like cracking knuckles going, by the way, everybody, we have different rules on posts of Millie Bobby Brown. If I see any of this shit, I won't delete your comment. You're getting fucking kicked out and blocked. And like, they literally go so above and beyond to like, they don't want to like remove all the photos of her. They're like, no, we're not going to like not speak about her. But like, you have to show up fucking kind and correct and not being a piece of shit because this is a literal child. And they've done that since, because she's like loved fashion forever. They've done that for years and years and years. So that makes me happy to see people who are like walking the walk when it comes to that part. And that's the people that I think in general, a lot of people are like, well, I'm allowed to criticize her outfit. I'm like, these are people who do that. And they are like, we have rules for how you talk about her here because there is a massive implication and it comes from a specific sect of people who wanted to fuck her as a child. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's mine.
All right. We're going to take another break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History, and every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. If you can hear my cat purring, she is often on the podcast as well. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, fellow TV watchers? It's Brian from The Core Podcast, where we cover all things Apple TV+. We are wrapping up our recaps of Emmy favorite Severance, but 2025 on Apple TV Plus is just getting started. In April and May, The Core is recapping Seth Rogen's new Hollywood satire, The Studio, and Jon Hamm's dark comedy, Your Friends and Neighbors. We'll also be recapping the first 2 seasons of Apple's sci-fi thriller, Foundation, heading into the 3rd season of that later this year. Search for The Core, all things Apple TV Plus, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
How does weather work? What's the secret to having a great conversation? How do most wealthy people get that way? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. Each episode covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and listen, we've got over 1,000 episodes, over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know, wherever you listen.
We're back and it's time for But Are You Wrong? That's when you people write into butamiwrongpod@gmail.com.
Yum. Couldn't let that go, sorry.
I couldn't let it go either. I was just gonna repeat myself without you making a comment.
What can I say?
You can send us an email to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com or fill out our magical form. You can send in updates, you can send in also, your But Are You Wrong? And then bring it to the table for judgment. People can vote on this on Instagram the week after. And then we will read those results on See You Next Tuesday. All right, here's the first one. Hi, Eminem. I'm 25, she, her, and a grad student living with my parents. I struggle with anxiety, depression, and ADHD my whole life, but wasn't diagnosed until early 20s. I'm only medicated for anxiety. The biggest tension with my parents has always been my room, its cleanliness, organization, or lack thereof. Recently, my mom called my room disgusting, which I brushed off. To be fair, it was. I've been bed rotting, not in the tone deaf trendy way. Later, she kept bringing it up, saying it upsets my dad and how I'm not making it a priority. I broke down and admitted I was struggling with SAD and burnout. Her response, we can't know what you don't tell us. I pointed out how I barely been getting out of bed, wasn't showering, etc. All my energy goes to school right now. My mom helped me organize my room in the past, but nothing ever stuck. And with my SAD, it has gotten bad. My room upsets me too. My mom started a small business and I'm happy for her, but every conversation revolves around it. I told her she didn't know because she didn't ask and how she only talks about work. I missed the relationship we had prior. Both my parents are Gen X. My dad also immigrated from Mexico, and with Trump in office, stress in our household has been overwhelming. I felt like my issues didn't compare. I'm also the oldest child and don't like to burden others with my problems. When I share how fatigued I feel, I'm told you don't know what tired is. Am I wrong for thinking she should have noticed? Or was it on me to speak up? Any advice is appreciated. You all are the best big sisters I never had. Aw.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think this is tough because, yes, you would like for people to see that there's been a change that happened in your life, but they're also living their lives and may not have noticed some of the things they might have thought were just, this is a college student that they're stressed out with school, but that's normal. So there's nothing really to talk about. Or also you said you don't like to share your feelings. So maybe they did notice something might have been a little off and they didn't want to bring it up, but they're also living their own lives too and have their own stresses that they're dealing with. And did you, in the same way that you expected them to say things to you, have you said things to them about the other things that they have going on in your life? In their lives. I don't necessarily think that you're wrong, but I just think that there's a broader picture than just what you're seeing because, it's your own life and that's how you live your life and you have your perspective, but they also have their own perspectives too.
Yeah, I would just ask yourself, what have they ever asked how you is this different than before when you said so my mom used to sometimes she would help me clean my room. Was that after you had said, hey, I'm really struggling with this? Or did she say that she noticed you're struggling with that? Or did she just start picking this up did she just start help you cleaning your room? Because to me, what she's saying doesn't necessarily scream she didn't know what was going on. This could have been her way of acknowledging it, but it's not effective. This didn't, this just made you feel shame. This didn't feel good about this. And I think it's conversations around mental health can be tricky because, one thing might have worked in the past when how you wanted someone to show up for you that doesn't work now. And they could be still doing that old thing, or we have an expectation of how we want people to show up. And there also could be you have an expectation, you've told them how you want them to show up for you and they choose not to. And that's fun. It sucks. It really does. And I can understand the Gen X parent thing, but from people who I know who are older siblings, and then especially people who are older siblings who have parents who have immigrated, there are different expectations and standards that you are held to as the oldest sibling, as well as the life that they view their childhood struggles to what they view your childhood struggles as. And they're not a child for your struggles, and you also were not there for their childhood. They're not able to be compared in that way, but it happens. So I think some of the behavior that we have when we're depressed or whatever, it is a cry for help. We do want someone to reach out and to see that. And it sounds like that was for you. You wanted them to notice. And sometimes that can feel it's a test that you want them to show that they care. And unfortunately, good people and bad people fail those tests sometimes. Mm-hmm. And people who love you and people who don't have your best interest at heart, both of them can fail this test and not show up in the way that you need them to. And in a perfect world, they would. But I think like sometimes like you do have to say exactly what you need, because just getting your needs met is like the most important thing for your safety, for all of these other things that it's like, it would be really great if you didn't have to spell it out. But like sometimes like you need the fucking life raft, and like you want someone to see that you're drowning, and that would help a lot. But sometimes you need to say, I'm fucking drowning. And like, that's really hard to do that. And I think the signs were all there, but sometimes some people just they don't know how to handle that or work with that. Or if you have before said, hey, I'm fucking drowning, they're kind of waiting for that signal. And you just got to get through the day to day, and like anything further to address from there. But it doesn't sound like your needs have necessarily been validated or met by your parents historically. And so I do think, I don't know, not to be like, I kind of at a certain point, like, especially if I'm in a dark place, I have to expect that out of those people. And then I have to seek out fulfilling relationships and things that care about me in a way that is applicable to like how my mental health is doing. I have to seek that out separately, because you need to get it from somewhere. And if these people have not been able to meet those needs, if they haven't been able to meet those needs when things are going well, and it's like minor things, if it's like a big major emotional like thing that you're going through, it's going to hurt even more when they can't meet those needs.
Yeah. And then also I wonder, like, when you've been through this before, how old were you? Because they also might be looking at like, I helped you when you were 17, like straighten up your room, but now you're 25 and you're an adult and you're living under my roof. So like, I didn't realize that, other things were going on, but they were more helpful for you. Like you said, your mom would like help you straighten up your room and things, but like it might have been also because you were a child, and while you're still their child, they may not be looking at you as like a child.
Yeah, and they might feel like that would be insulting if she offered it. Like you can say like, hey, I would really love that, but like there are some boundaries that an adult child living with their parents have. And so I think like saying things that would be like that stuff, like I really appreciate that would be really helpful. But also, yeah, I like to bring back to what you initially had said. How much time are you spending with them? Like if you're in grad school, I assume you're pretty busy. Like there is a chance that they like quite literally may not have put all of the pieces together at once with that. Or yeah, they could have assumed this is just regular school stress. I don't want to, I don't want to be in her face or cause her more stress in that way. But I think when you're up to it, having like a conversation about like when you're feeling this way, how they can know if it's okay for them to ask you. Because sometimes like people really don't like, if I'm not doing well and someone's like, I can tell you're like not doing, and like I'm like getting ready to go somewhere to like go to fucking school or whatever, I'd be like, why would you like, no.
Right.
This is not like, I need to power through to a certain point. Like we all have different needs. And I think like having that conversation, even if it's like clunky and awkward and hard to have, at least you'll know if someone's trying intentionally dismissing what you want and what you need versus inadvertently or accidentally doing so. I don't know where you live, and maybe if you've lived there for a very long time, but in general, and there's a lot of people who deal with seasonal affective, I forget what the A stands for, but who have like who live in like rural Alaska and all of that stuff, who have like lots of tips and things that have helped. Because as someone who lives in Los Angeles, we even deal with like such minor aspects of it that it always makes me think of people who live in places where like this, it's not the same seasons that we have.
Right.
It has such a huge effect on your mental state. So if anyone has any tips.
All right. Next one.
My partner, his friends, and I went to this karaoke bar in the city during St. Patrick's Day weekend. So it was crowded. It was drink to sing. So when you bought a drink, you got 2 song slips. You could write the song you wanted on the slip, give it to the bartender, and wait to be called. Because it was so crowded, we waited about an hour to sing the songs we wanted. It was a good group until one of the friends got up on stage to sing her last song of the night. While she was singing, a group of 3 girls and a guy entered the bar. They were a little drunk already, being loud and rowdy. Nothing wrong, just a little annoying. Then one of the girls somehow got a hold of the other microphone. She started yelling the words into the mic while my friend was singing. I tapped her on the shoulder and told her, hey, don't sing, it's her turn, pointing to the friend who was clearly on stage. The girl said, oh, turned to look at the girl on stage, turned back around and kept singing or just yelling. Yes, she was white. I waited about 30 seconds and then straight up took the mic out of her hands. She turned around and was upset, saying I was rude. And why would I do that? I told her, I already told you it wasn't your turn. People have waited an hour to sing. This is rude. And she and her friends kept trying to argue with me, but I just ignored them and eventually walked away. Am I the asshole for taking the mic out of her hands? Was there something else I could have done? No, it's how you take an iPad out of
a child.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I think you were actually incredibly patient and kind, far more than I would have been. Unless you cut out some of the expletives.
Right. I mean, what else could you done? Bitch slap them? I don't know. But like, also the people that work there should have had better control. Like, where was this microphone where she could just pick it up?
No, that's terrifying.
Yeah. And then why didn't the people that work there do more? I guess you could have snitched and told the people that work there, hey, why aren't you stopping that bitch from singing? But
they got other stuff to deal with. I think that if I worked out, I would have appreciated you handling the business on your own, snatching that mic.
You could have maybe just snatched it and taken it back and then handed it to a person that works there. But other than that, this one seems pretty easy.
Yeah. I also think that like if I worked there, I would love if you as a customer handled it on your own. Mm-hmm. And like if it slipped out of your hand and like clocked her a little bit, I would have been like, don't do that.
You know exactly what.
Bitch, because I told you. I
told you about it. And then I looked it up after. Yeah.
It is, by the way, you saw the video now. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Everyone's worried about her physical health, but what about my mental? Girl, I am concerned about your mental.
I am very concerned about your mental health.
As well as your parents.
Yeah.
I think something is bad here. No, but I think like if I worked there and some girl came up and like, you know, maybe she had a bit of a bloody nose and was like, oh my God, she's slurring, she's wasted. And I was like, this girl, she took the mic out of my hand and it hit me in the face. I would be like, where's your slip? Like, I would be like, I think it was probably an honest mistake and an accident. I'd give you a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, this is just, I do think that there are, there is a karaoke etiquette. I do think in general, it is not the place to go when you are an embarrassing drunk. And like, I have had friends, as someone who has on the Abbott Elementary, when they went to karaoke, those little rooms, the way that we fucking tore that shit up in high school, because we would like shoulder tap, get some alcohol underage, we get fucking wasted and we'd sing karaoke. I had a friend who wandered out of our room into another people's karaoke room, started singing. She took their mic, started singing their song, not in English, making up the words. She does not remember, was so blacked out. She threw up everywhere, had to get the person's car professionally detailed, had to get like everybody's like clothes dry cleaned, all of that kind of stuff. And I don't think they've been back since, because if you cannot control your alcohol, the place you should never be is a place with a megaphone, a microphone, or music where you have to sing in tune, or a stage.
You don't have to sing in tune, but
no, but like a place where you're being asked to speak on the microphone.
Yes. I think that this establishment is asking for it. If you have you buy some drinks and then you get 2 tickets, that doesn't seem like a way to operate. Like, you're asking people to get drunk and that's how you get the tickets to sing.
And you're not going to get I don't know how often you're going to get the choir Barbaras up in there with their worship songs. Like, I would also love to know what song your friend picked. Because what do you think is the worst song to pick at karaoke? Mats is asking me and I was like, oh, I have so many answers. We used to do fucking karaoke all the goddamn time.
I particularly am not a karaoke person. Me and my friends in college, there would be a karaoke place that was like really boring, and it may not have actually been this. We were just very drunk, but we would go in and it would be like sad and people weren't really bringing the vibes. And so we'd pick a song that was good for the vibes that we wanted and then like kill it, and people would like be standing and cheering, and then we'd leave.
Oh,
and so
a mic drop moment.
We would be like the hype people, and we were like, we need some job where we're the hype people and we go around and get parties hype and then just bounce.
Have you ever heard of a party motivator?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
that's
this was
usually-
like before that was like a thing. But again, we were drunk, so we might have just been the annoying people coming
they were
around like this.
cheering.
We could have been this girl.
They were cheering. I don't think they would have cheered like that if you guys weren't
Because
good.
we were pre-partying. We weren't going there to drink.
No. Again, as someone who's going underage, we had to
I
get,
think
we had
I
to get
was
properly
underage.
sauced.
Most of my friends were a year older than me, so I was very much underage for a lot of this anyway. So
Yeah. I think the worst one is I would get so fucking annoyed when you get to a certain like level of drunk and it's like suddenly the boys want to start participating, or like, you know, people who are like, oh my God, like I'm not like, I guess if you insist, or they'll be like, I have to do a song. And they get up there and they perform Black and Yellow. Shut the fuck up. No. Or the tequila song. Dun, 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 dun. They say 3 words.
That's not even a song
No,
to do.
I need you. Like, I don't need you to be good, but I truly don't need you to get up there and just say Black and Yellow or tequila.
Yeah, understand. Not wrong, but you know, it's also not the end of the world. Like, karaoke is for drunk people. I don't think it's that serious.
No, I do think, I'm assuming if I'm going to like make some stereotypes about your friend group, you are the friend who is singing is a people pleaser friend. It's not the friend who, you know, is like standing the ground, and you are very used to laying down boundaries for them, which, you know, it's a good energy. It's nice. I will say the song that Janine and Gregory sang, Mats and I have already said that when we do like prior to this, that's our karaoke duet. And I was like, they're doing our song.
Have you guys ever done karaoke together?
No, but he and his bestie Hank, they tore up karaoke. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but they love it. They were big into the Backstreet Boys.
I want it that way.
And he gets so mad, but I'm like, they're all right. And he's like, they're literally fantastic.
They're so good.
You and him can agree. I'm like, okay. I was a Britney girl.
So was I. You can't.
I know,
you don't have to not be. You can be all of it.
I was so young. I know I was boy crazy. None of those boys did it for me. So therefore, I was like, because at that age, it was like, if you want to get a hit clip, which one do you want? The Britney or the Backstreet Boys or the NSYNC one? And I was like, if I'm having to pick Britney, I need the Jonas Brothers were when I was like, I guess I'll let these boys sing. I guess boys are allowed to sing.
Yeah, when you were listening to Jonas Brothers, that's when Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were in their prime for me, like age-wise. Yes,
because then I was like, why are these boys singing? Where are the girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what a good time.
We should go to
Brittany,
karaoke.
Christina. Yeah. We should.
Except now I don't drink, so like, I don't know that I could do it sober.
I still never heard you sing. You told me you can carry a tune, so.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
Okay. 8 years in, never heard it.
When are you going to hear me like singing to myself?
You could sing in the car.
I do.
And I haven't heard you. I've
Okay,
been in the
well,
car
listen
with
better.
you. You weren't singing.
Were we talking?
Yes.
Okay, well,
So
that's why.
you could have been singing.
Let's put some music on. You'll hear me sing at Beyonce. And that you'll go, can she carry a tune? Unfortunately, Beyonce's incredibly hard to sing along to.
I was going to say, that's not one that I can really judge. Also, be loud.
No.
If you're singing so loud that I can also hear you, then we're going to have a problem.
No, I would never. I will be shooting death glares at any bitch who's doing that. I'll be like, pipe the fuck down.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into Butter They Wrong.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Hey, what's up? It's Wanda Sykes. I'm here to remind you about something super important, getting your breast screened. Because trust me, your breast health should be a priority. Early detection for breast cancer can change the game, which is why you should visit yourattentionplease.com to learn more. And do me a favor, if you've already had a breast cancer screening, remind your friends and family to visit yourattentionplease.com too. We gotta look out for our girls.
We're back. It is time for But Are They Wrong? This is where we nominate a person, place, or thing, something from current events, pop culture, the zeitgeist, who we think deserves a public shaming. It could be big, it could be niche, it could be whatever. And also to remind everybody, not that anyone's brought it up, but I just want to remind anyone if they're new. We could nominate Republicans and MAGA conservatives every single week. This is not a ranking list of who did the worst thing, but we do not hide our political views or our belief system whatsoever. And sometimes we need to find a minor villain amongst the biggest villains of them all for our own sanity.
Right. I'm very tapped into the news. Yep. Like, shout out to Little Rock, Arkansas. They had a town hall meeting 2 days ago, or whenever y'all are hearing this, last week. They were having a town hall meeting, and the Republican, it was packed, and the Republican representative was too scared to show up. So, like, that's my home state, and I'm tapped in there. I'm tapped in here. I went to a town hall meeting like 2 weeks ago. So, like, I'm very much present in local politics, but I don't want to talk about it at all.
No. And I encourage everybody in general, if it's the only thing you can talk about, your mental health is actively suffering. And like, that's not sustainable because we need to fight. And who knows what the way it'll be. Maybe it'll be Motz's way, arm the liberals. Like, I need us doing push-ups, and those who can't do push-ups, I need us yelling encouraging words.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's mine. A federal jury in Minneapolis just convicted Aimee, Bock, and Salim for $250 million in a fraud scheme. This wasn't just like some minor paperwork issue. It was a calculated theft of funds meant to feed children. So during the pandemic, the USDA relaxed rules for child nutrition programs. Bock, who ran the nonprofit Feeding Our Future, and Saeed, a restaurant owner, seized this opportunity. They created a network of fake food distribution sites claiming to serve massive numbers of meals. Think like fabricated meal counts, fake attendance rosters, the whole 9 yards. And so, like, to put it in perspective, Feeding Our Future went from managing $3.4 million in 2019 to nearly $200 million in 2021. Saeed's restaurant, which previously did around $600,000 annually, suddenly claimed to be serving thousands of meals daily. These numbers never added up. So here's where the money went. It went to luxury cars, real estate, international travel. Essentially, they treated federal funds as their own little piggy bank. And the investigation was a joint effort by the FBI, IRS, and the Postal Service. They uncovered a complex web of shell companies, kickbacks, and falsified documents. They literally really planned this out and were successful until they got too big for their britches. Bock was convicted on charges like wire fraud and bribery. Saeed faced even more charges, including money laundering. The prosecution presented a strong case, and the jury delivered a guilty verdict. This case really highlights the serious breach in public trust, especially when you say that you're feeding kids and you're just going on your little vacations.
So was this an organization before?
Yes, it was an organization before, and then they took advantage of what was happening during the pandemic and just started fudging their numbers and saying that they were doing more service than they were actually doing, and then we're getting a big kickback from the government.
So they were still doing the same number, like the same service they had done before.
Mm-hmm. But on a much smaller scale than what their numbers were saying.
How are they, like, I'm just thinking, like, you taking these vacations, like, I'm assuming they're not hiring more people, so then I'm like, okay, so who's covering you when you're taking
more people?
Oh, because I was like, who's covering you when you're taking vacation? Like,
yeah, they went from doing, what was it, $2 million to $200 million. Yeah, $3.4 million in 2019 to nearly $200 million in 2021. So they could be paying workers $1 million and still be taking a big paycheck home.
Well, it's also just crazy because, like, this is, I will say that, like, this is not the kind of work that typically pays well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is such, I'm so curious how they, like, they decided they were going to, like, do this. Cause, like, in general, people who work long term in, like, community driven stuff, like projects like this, you are not in it for the money. I'm not saying those people are, like, saints and wonderful people. A lot of the time people are also fueled by narcissism and, like, having people needing them or whatever. But, like, usually it's a lot of work, a lot of paperwork for not a lot of money. And then I go, you're going to do more of that and then create a scam. Like, that's, it's just, how the fuck did you agree to do that?
Mm-hmm. I think that it just started out as a little bit at a time. And then they're like, actually, we're in the pandemic. They're not paying that close of attention. Let's just add a little bit more on. And also, like, because a lot of parents were out of work too, I'm sure they saw, like, we're feeding or
true, an increased need.
They weren't in school. The children, they have now, like, gone from having maybe 2 meals provided for them at school. Now they need all 3 meals. And so they're just like, you know what? We just had a little bit more on here, a little bit here.
Yeah, You're right. They probably started making more money in the pandemic and then was like, we could make even more if we had this many more students. And then it was like, maybe we just start saying that that's how many we have.
Yep.
That's exactly probably how it went down. Wow. I did not hear about this. Crazy. Okay. I would like to nominate Happiest Baby Company, who makes the snoo. Now, there is a content creator. I'll get her name in a minute, but, like, I don't even think it doesn't need to be attached to an influencer at this point. This is who brought this up because, like, it's not sad because this happened to an influencer. This is just fucked up that this happened point blank. But an influencer named Brooklyn had sent an email to this company, had sent a bassinet, like I think that specifically it is the snoo, sent a bassinet to this content creator to make some content with. And they were like, yeah, I'll post with my baby and, like, the exchange of services. Now, I will say that this you can also rent a snoo, and anyone can do that. You can, like, rent it a certain amount per month for however long or whatever. So who knows if it was initially gifted or if it was, like, a renting program, whatever it is. Again, doesn't matter. It's not sad because of who it happened to. It's not sad because of, like, it is just fucked up point blank because this is a company about fucking babies. Brooklyn Larson, and she had a stillbirth and her baby died. And she was posting content like, it's baby week, it's all of this lead up, has an entire audience who knows that she's having this baby, and her baby dies. And she gets an email from Happiest Baby. They'd sent an email about the content because she was not able to send the content that was delivered on. They said, you have to send this back right now. The bassinet.
What?
Uh-huh. She is grieving the death of her baby. She has other kids too. Like, what the fuck? And it's, like, just fucking insane. And I think someone made a comment that was like, Chewy, like, is so much more compassionate when people's pets die.
I've heard about what they do.
Yeah, I've seen so many amazing videos about that versus a fucking baby company. And, like, their whole thing of, like, oh, we rent snooze so, like, more people can have access to, like, this feels like a load of fucking bullshit. And like even people who are defending this, and they're defending it in like the names of like, well, I don't like influencers, so let me find a way to justify this company. If you are ever justifying and like you are backing, I'm going to assume, maybe I don't know for sure, like a private equity most likely, but a big fucking bajillion-dollar company over an influencer who you don't like because you view the influencer as a more privileged person. No, we're not talking about like people who work at the company, but like a company as a whole, that's fucked. It's fucked. But like, if they're all about like, you know, wanting to have like helping people with babies, like you send flowers, you know that you're looking for her content. You realize why she has not fucking posted the content. You realize abundantly clear why that has happened. You send flowers, you send condolences. You say, please know, of course, that I hope it goes without saying, but like, we are not like that. The content are, like that is, you have no responsibility for us doing any content together.
And send this back whenever you can.
Yes,
like,
or saying,
or don't even
please,
say it,
or even say like, if you would love to, if you want to keep this for yourself, we would love that. If you want to pass it along to another person, save it. Like, this is yours. We know it could never repay for that loss, but like we are so like, you have our deepest condolences.
Right. And even from a business standpoint, you make this a tax write-off. If you're so concerned about losing money, you make it a tax write-off.
And also, if you were so concerned about losing money, it does not sound like any money was exchanged hands for this brand. It is product. So you already know how to do these write-offs. You already know this. And also like, if you have a contract for a product in exchange for whatever, some people take the product and they never make the content. Are you going to sue them? No, this is without a doubt. This has happened for like a nefarious like, do you know what I mean? Like versus some like an actual tragedy that this is where everyone's like, well, it's a business at the end of the day. No.
There are people at the end of the day that have a business.
Who's buying stuff from your business? Your customers. And this is universal. This is not like, and like, I do think people are holding like some people, and like, thankfully I haven't seen like, I've seen a good amount of people defending it, but I'm like, it's because you hate influencers or you hate the specific influencer. I don't care who this influencer is, what they've done, whatever, because like, it's not about this person. When any other customer hears this, who has whether suffered a miscarriage or a stillbirth or had a child die from SIDS, any of that, they see themselves in her, not because they enjoy her content or whatever, but because like that is a horrible fucking tragedy that far too many people can relate to. And then a brand who is, and also like, you know, they do marketing things about like, you know, it's like a great for like safe sleep and all that stuff. I'm like, you can't pretend to care about that. Like it just feels so wildly fucked and so deeply insensitive. Like it's just like so fucking stupid. And also like very much the brand treating her deceased child as a way to make money and now no longer like that. Like that's just so royally fucked. And it's an expensive product to begin with. And like, if you don't have the money, don't send it then. Like, this is not like, you didn't have to do this. And it feels so needlessly cruel for someone to also be stressing over that. Like, she didn't get to come home from the hospital with her baby, and now you want to get rid of her baby. Like, most people haven't even touched the fucking nursery. Like, and you want her to get rid of her baby's bed. Psychologically, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. Be better people. And especially when you work in this industry, like, you can't tell me this isn't the first time that that's happened.
That's the part that's crazy to me, because I'm like, you should know. Like, Chewy knows.
Right. Even if this isn't the first time that happens, you should know that this is a possibility and this should be part of your business plan.
Oh my God. And like, what about customers who buy or like, I don't know how much like the rent thing, like if you can prepay for a year and their baby passes away, whether from SIDS or to stillbirth, like, do you say, or sorry, anything. Tough luck? Like, that's so crazy.
That's in the hospital for months.
It's just so crazy. Again, specifically because I think it's fucked up regardless. But when you have like a program that is for renting because you know your product only works for a certain time period of life of this kid, and you also know it's expensive and you want to have more access to it. Wow, we've really like done a lot of going above and beyond of talking about understanding specific timelines and wanting more parents to have access to this. So where the fuck did all of that go? Like, it's just it's crazy because, like you said, like, this is it's always a fucking possibility. Yeah. And what do you mean? So fucked. But they also gave a shout out to, it was her sister who had posted this, saying that this had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And had said, on another note, Factor Meals hasn't stopped sending her meals during all of this, regardless of the fact that my sister never went live with her last obligation with them the day that Rocky passed away. So I just think that, like, you know, they didn't send flowers. Like, you don't have to do the above and beyond thing if you don't want to, like, set that precedent with your customers, which, by the way, I do think it's fucked. Like, you should set that precedent.
Yes.
Especially when you're in a field that is so, even if everything goes wonderful, you can deal with postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. You could just be dealing with healing. Like, it is like an emotionally fraught and straight up just dangerous and like trepidatious time. So, like, if you don't want to go above and beyond, okay, but like, you're gonna have to pay, and paying. I promise you, they want her to pay shipping. Fucking insane.
Of course they would. That's just like when I got my massage chair and there was a screw missing. They're just like, keep it. Like, you can't tell me that they don't have some type of contingency in play here.
And also, like, even with the way that when you rent it out, baby products have to be like a really intense certification level of safety that is like reevaluated every fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you that at a certain point you're gonna have to retire the machines that you have a process of this. Or if a customer like something goes wrong with it or whatever, like you're fine. You know how to fucking do this.
Right.
It also just makes me think like, wow, if you did this to someone with a public platform, which you shouldn't do this to anyone, but this does make me think there's no way this has not happened to somebody else who has talked about it on their personal Facebook, but they don't have an audience or followers to like see this or hear this. I just think that there's no way that this is the first callous, horrible act you've done. Like, because it was I was like, this is mind blowing, like a level of insensitivity.
Right.
Like, it's cruelty, truly, at this point.
Right.
So, fuck the snoo, fuck Happiest baby, and shout out to Factor Meals.
Yeah, and I'm also, which is owned by, you know, same company as HelloFresh that sponsors us sometimes. Also, I'm sorry for what this person is also going through.
Yeah.
On so many different levels.
Devastating. And I can't imagine that, I don't know, like having a brand experience like this poor is so horrific because there's people behind that. There's people who work there and do those things. And there's been other stuff, I think it was a Kite Baby or something, which was like a baby onesie company or whatever.
Okay.
And their whole thing was like, yeah, we want to support and all that. And like finally one of the employees came out being like, I think they got fired while they tried to take maternity leave. And they were like,
it doesn't add up.
No,
they don't stand by what they pretend that their values are.
No, and I really think in general, having like exorbitantly expensive products that are targeted to first-time parents, especially parents who are pregnant and giving birth, who will have a lot of hormones fucking coursing through their body and a lot of anxiety and a lot of like true, real mental health like side effects and risks and things that can last forever. But to have like products that you list as, oh, your baby will not be able to sleep without this. And then you go, well, if I don't sleep, I'm going to have a psychotic break. And like you spiral way fucking quicker. I already think it's predatory to make these things cost so much fucking money. And I don't know if this one is FSA. Isn't there an H?
Yeah. FSA or HSA.
Okay.
Health savings account or flexible spending account.
Okay. Yeah. So if they're not applicable for those things, or like, you know, I think similar things in like hypoallergenic baby formulas, if they're not available, if you can't use like food stamps or like WIC for that, I think it is predatory to make something that is saying that it is
the top of the line, best of the best, and you
or
have
prevent
to get this.
A tragedy from your child, and this will ease your mind and ease your worries, and you make it cost so much money, or you make it so like you can't use these government assistance to get that. I think in general that like, I think you're like, I would rather you make something for fucking adults who are not having babies. Like it just feels so extra scammy.
I don't think that there should be a such thing as like luxury baby products.
No, especially when things it's like, oh, this thing prevents SIDS.
Then that
my
should be
fucking
readily
God.
available
then
to
everyone
everybody.
should have that. You should leave the hospital with this. And like, I'm not saying that this thing says that they prevent SIDS, but like, even when you tout it as being like, this is the only thing that helped my baby sleep, a parent not getting enough sleep is also that directly contributes to their postpartum, like specifically postpartum psychosis. Like it is night and day. Like, and so it's just, it's already such an unattainable fucking expensive ass thing. And to then be like, oh, we actually don't have enough money. Let's rip this from the hands of someone who quite literally just lost her son. Like, fucked up.
All right. Well, that's the end of our episode.
That's the end. That's the end. That's the end. The end. The end. The end. The end. Do, 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 do. Do.
Beautiful. Now
Thanks.
I know that you can carry a tune.
By the way, you're going to think, if you thought that was carrying a tune, you're going to be like, holy shit, put her on the Masked Singer. No.
Obviously, I was being sarcastic.
I know. Boop, 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 boop. Anything else?
No. I do have something to tell you, but I forgot what it was, and it was going to be an off the mic thing anyway.
Oh, I love a juicy gossip. You can't remember?
No.
Fuck.
I remembered for a second, and then it went away. Well, thank you again for joining us. If you want to watch us, and you know you do, join our Patreon. Join our OnlyFans.
Titties.
I asked you if you wanted me to.
Oh, I
contact
forgot
them,
about
and you
that.
didn't respond.
I laughed in my head, and then I thought I responded, and I didn't.
Well, buy our merch. The colors will be ending very soon, like within a week.
We're edging you guys.
Yeah. And it's going to be cute. It's going to be great. It's going to be lovely. Some people want that god awful saying that you recently posted on our Instagram.
People are like,
shirt.
I want merch. You guys,
But
it's literally available for
it's
sale on
not-
Spencers.com.
Yeah, like that's not something we can do. It already exists. The
I
only
don't
way
know
we
the
could do it would be like
Hey.
putting it on there and saying that Meghan loves this and Melissa hates this so much. So much.
It is funny because I do think it is a quite like a 50-50 fucking split of people who are like, I hate this. This is horrible. And then people who are like, I'm absolutely addicted to that shirt. Much like Meghan, I constantly keep saying, who ate all the pussy?
And the thing is, it's not like I'm a prude. I love a good nasty joke. I just don't think it's funny. Like
And I
nothing
think
about
it's-
that is funny to me.
And I think it's the funniest thing in the fucking world. Like
I think it's so dumb.
I'm quite literally addicted to it. And it's an acting exercise. How do you want to
So
read
dumb.
it? What's the meaning to you?
Dumbness. All right, you can join us tomorrow for See You Next Tuesday. Well, we'll put your tongue in your mouth. Nobody wants to know what pussy you ate. You're like, none.
I haven't eaten pussy.
Me
No
either.
judgment. No shame.
No,
Love getting
it's
mine
just-
eaten. It's just,
Yeah, it's not appetizing to me.
I also don't like ham.
I do like ham. I don't like hash. Sorry.
Okay, you have to clarify because there's lots of kinds of hash, Melissa.
I love weed. I don't actually love weed. I like weed, and I'll do a gummy.
Yeah.
I love hash browns, but
Yeah.
the meat,
Mm-hmm.
that's for you and your people.
I literally told Monsa, I was like, we have to get corned beef. Like, I felt like I was fucking betraying my people, and like I felt sad all day, and I've been craving it, and none of my electrolytes are hitting, and I think it's because I need the salt.
Yeah.
Give me that corned beef
and hash.
Yeah. Oh, and I can't wait for a stinky little cabbage. Woo.
I like a nice smothered cabbage.
Maybe I should make her dinner soon.
Anyways, Wednesday, that's your day to catch up. Thursday is Don't Blame Me. Friday, we have Fisting Friday. And then Monday, we're back here for But Am I Wrong? So we will circle back.
I don't know why that took so long.
Deuces, motherfucker.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, Despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more with Spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.